Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new video. I am Alexa Disventure Camp and welcome to this What If, which is what if Riya was never evil. Before we begin, a few things to note. First off, this background footage is not owned by me. It is owned by Odd Nation Cartoons as well. This is also the 1,900 subscriber special. Thank you all so much for all of the support shown on this channel. It really means the world to me. Anyways, one more thing to note is for me personally, Riya's villainy does not start until episode 10. You could argue episode 8, but to me that was pure desperation, and though the move itself isn't something I would consider heroic, it definitely isn't full villain to me, nor is it really where people consider her heel turn, which is me included. Therefore, this What If specifically will be starting at episode 10. Alrighty, with that out of the way, I think we can get right into the What If. Alrighty, so starting off, remember that since Riya is not evil anymore, Riya would not frame anybody, and therefore she would not steal the items of James' phone, or steal, in quotes, her perfume, or frame Rosa for any of this things. This means that when James wakes up, he still does have his phone on him, which means when Rosa comes in to invite both James and Aiden to breakfast, they both would just agree, because there's no reason for James to stay behind anymore. He can just go on their merry way. I do think Rosa would still have her discussion with Hunter, because I don't see why that would change. I feel like Rosa would just be like, hey Aiden, James, I need to go help out Hunter, and I think they would understand. If anything, James would be a little suspicious, but he's not gonna confront her over that. It'll take a lot longer to confront her for anything, per se. Anyways, remember that in the original, Aiden and Rosa were just talking about, I think that was around the, illumination ceremony, I believe, I could be wrong here, but James and I think would join them in that, and they would just be talking a bit, and Riya would also join them, and they would plan to just hashtag get out Hunter. But yeah, the same challenge occurs, and Rosa does still warn Hunter, which makes him more prepared. James and Aiden would now be talking about, I don't know, because again, remember the original discussion that James and Aiden were having was about who stole his phone and all, but here, since it isn't stolen, I'm just gonna assume they're probably talking about movies or maybe some influencer things. I don't know. But anyways, Hunter does still try to get them out, the same kind of events. Riya's like, oh no, it's fine that you're doing this. Though I do feel like even though she's not evil, I do think she'd be still a lot more insecure inside. I do think that would still carry over, so I do still see that happening, but still. Anyways, the original reason Hunter actually managed to win the challenge is due to the fact that they were all standing still in shock. Here, I feel like since there's no reason for James to pop the balloons or accuse anybody, since that didn't happen here, I feel like they just talk a bit about where to try and find Hunter next and go against separate ways. You could argue that Hunter might shoot them down when they're standing still this go around, but remember, in the original he didn't until it was plot convenient. So I'm just gonna assume the same thing happens here. I have no reason to change that. Therefore, I don't think they've managed to get Hunter out in 15 minutes, because this dude is a master of hiding, and clockwise, I do not think Hunter would be able to shoot down the 6 balloons that they all have in total. No, it's actually, yeah, the 6 balloons I don't think he would be able to do in time. Therefore, we leave Aiden and Rosa. However, I do think he'd be able to shoot down one of Aiden's balloons. I would say that they could go for double immunity here, and both Aiden and Rosa have immunity. However, Crystal never stated that she could do double immunity, nor was there ever any double immunity in this season specifically. Therefore, I don't see it happening, and out of Aiden or Rosa, Hunter would definitely shoot down a balloon from Aiden. Call it a bit plot contrived, but even if you want to say Aiden won immunity, since Hunter doesn't want immunity here, Hunter's just going home. You could argue that, but Rosa doesn't have it in her to betray, and Riya would not betray the alliance because she's good now and she's gonna stick with Rosa. Obviously, she'd be insecure, but they'd still stick with the alliance. So therefore, Hunter is still eliminated here. Well, not still, but is eliminated here in episode 10. So episode 11, morning-wise, Aiden and James are just celebrating James getting to 2 million followers. Rosa and Riya come out from the cabin, happy to see James and Aiden happy, all that. James suggests the fact that they are going by the lake to the beach and stuff like that, and they all go, with James and Aiden having the same scene as originally, since again it doesn't really affect much here. And then while Riya and Rosa just talk for a bit maybe about what to do next in terms of voting and the plan there. Challenge-wise, Rosa never said she fears heights, so I'm gonna assume she does not, so for the simplicity. Riya will get the top cliff, Rosa will get the second highest cliff, James will get the third highest cliff, and then you just have Aiden at the lowest type of cliff there. Second part of the challenge, and I'm skipping them just sitting at like the bleacher type thingies because there's no reason to stay there. I'm sure it's just gonna be James and Aiden being like, thanks James, I needed that, and no problem. And then you just have Riya and Rosa just talking a bit more. Something that it does need to be specified here is James actually would compete in the challenge. Remember, originally James didn't actually complete in the second part of the challenge due to feeling heartbroken over what happened with Aiden and all that. Since he would never admit to what happened, or it would never be brought up at all, because you could argue that Riya would still see his phone at the beach. No, that would not occur, because remember, that was a lie Riya told. That was a full-on lie. Riya did not see James' phone at all in terms of at the beach. She stole it, saw it then, and that's how she got that data. It was not from the beach, I don't believe. Therefore, it would not occur, and therefore, again, James would compete. So who would win immunity? Since Riya did not win in the original, I'm just going to assume she doesn't win here. We don't know how James or Rosa would do in this challenge. So I'm going to just stick with the fact that Aiden will win due to the fact that it's canon. You could obviously argue it was due to adrenaline, but even then, I think it would be nice to give him a moment of spotlight finally. Just have him like win a challenge and being so excited over it, and then James comes over and is like, you did it, great job, Aiden. And then I think that would work out pretty well for them. Anyways, obviously the two sides are Aiden and James, and Rosa and Riya. First off, since Aiden is immune, they're gonna vote for James. But even if Aiden wasn't immune, they would 1000% vote for James. I cannot be convinced that they would actually vote Aiden over James. So there's that, and then Riya, who these two would vote, I think they would just vote for Riya, because remember, Aiden voted for, in episode 8, Riya, so I think that would just carry over here, and they would want to vote for Riya, and especially given the fact that Rosa and them talked this morning, I think they'd be more inclined to vote Riya because of that, so I do think it'd be 2-2. However, Rosa's idol. I do think Rosa would play the idol on Riya, because Riya would probably be even more secure and be like, hey Rosa, can you please play the idol on me? And she'd be like, oh sure. And so she'd play the idol before the votes are read. James and Aiden know it's defeat time, and James is sent packing. I do feel like they have a really sweet goodbye. Maybe they become canon here. Who knows? Because they were pretty close to before Riya decided sabotage. So, yeah. Bye-bye, James. And then we have our finalists. Helper-wise, Aiden would get James, Rosa would get Lake, and Riya would get Connor, like in the original. So, yeah, that is the what if. Let's get straight to the outro. Now, that was a pretty quick what if, though there was like 2 episodes to go through, so I'm not expecting this to be very long. But I don't personally prefer it to the original because, I don't know, I don't like the fact that there's like no drama. It'd just be an episode 6 and episode 7 situation all over again, and honestly, I'm not a big fan, but I do find it interesting that Aiden would have never figured out what James' original intentions were, which I think this would affect Disventure Camp All-Stars a lot more and be a lot more interesting in All-Stars, but since at the time of this video, All-Stars hasn't really finished up yet, I can't do those what-ifs yet, but this is definitely a continuation I will want to do once All-Stars is over. So yeah, if you have any other what-if ideas, you can comment them down below. I have a very long list right now, but I hope to eventually get to yours. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you again on the channel. Bye, everybody!